Tiana Sullivan sprinted through pouring rain, chasing a silver Maybach that cost more than every dollar she'd earn in a lifetime. Held up the billfold, hands trembling. $6,000 cash. The man didn't take it.
What if I told you I left it on purpose?
Tiana's breath caught.
Then you're testing the wrong person. I don't keep what isn't mine.
That's exactly what my daughter used to say. Before I buried her.
Rain streaking down the glass between them. He reached into his jacket, not for the billfold, for a business card. The Maybach pulled away, and Tiana stood there, soaking wet, holding the Billionaire's business card in one hand and $6,000 in the other, with absolutely no idea that returning this money was about to cost her everything she had, before giving her everything she deserved. Look, to understand that moment, we gotta go back. Trust me, you're not ready. But before we get to Monday, before the tower, the suits, the boardroom, we need to go back to that morning, to where Tiana's day actually started. 5:45 a.m., East Atlanta. The alarm hit like a slap. Tiana's hand shot out from under a thin blanket and killed the sound before it woke the walls. Studio apartment. 400 square feet of everything she owned. A secondhand couch, a folding table with one wobbly leg, and a kitchen so small you had to step outside to change your mind. On the wall above her bed, one framed photo. Her mother, Gloria Sullivan, smiling in a church hat, Easter Sunday, 2019. 3 years before the cancer took her. 3 years before the hospital bills started piling up like bricks on Tiana's back. She sat up, rubbed her eyes, grabbed her phone. 2 notifications. The first, a text from her little brother, Jerome, 20 years old, sophomore at Georgia State. The kid was smart. Not book smart, only smart. The kind of smart where professors pulled him aside after class and said things like, "You should apply for that fellowship." He was going to be somebody. Tiana made sure of that. His text read, "Sis, can you send lunch money? Dining card empty again. Sorry." She opened her bank app, checked the balance. $340.12. Rent was due in 9 days. $875. The math didn't math. It never did. She sent him $40 anyway. Typed back, "Don't skip meals. I mean it." The second notification, a voicemail from a number she knew too well. Atlantic Coast Collections. She didn't press play. She already knew what it said. Same script, different day. This message is regarding an outstanding balance of $14,000. $14,000. Her mother's medical debt. Gloria Sullivan spent 8 months fighting cancer in a hospital that charged $900 for an IV bag. Insurance covered some. Medicaid covered less. The rest fell on Tiana like a roof caving in. She deleted the voicemail. Got dressed. Ironed her uniform on the folding table. Slow, careful, pressing every crease flat. The apron had a small grease stain near the pocket that wouldn't come out no matter how many times she washed it. She wore it anyway, because showing up mattered, even when nobody noticed. 6:30 a.m. The bus ride. Tiana sat in the back, earbuds in, watching Atlanta wake up through a smudged window. Construction crews. A man selling fruit from a cooler on the corner. A woman pushing a stroller with one hand and holding a coffee with the other. The city moved. Tiana moved with it. 7 a.m. Delia's diner. The bell above the door jingled when she walked in. The smell hit first. Bacon, butter, strong coffee, and whatever Delia Morris had been yelling about since 5 in the morning. Delia was 55, built like a woman who'd been lifting cast iron since birth, and ran this diner the way a general runs a base. She'd opened it 22 years ago with money she saved working 3 jobs. No investors, no business loans she couldn't pay back, just sweat and stubbornness. "You're early," Delia said without looking up. "I'm always early. That's why I said it. Sit down, eat something before the rush." "I'm fine." Delia looked up now. "Girl, I didn't ask if you were fine. I said eat." Tiana smiled, the first real one today, and grabbed a biscuit from the warmer. The morning rush came fast. Tiana worked the floor like she was born on it. Table 4, the construction crew, she had their orders memorized. Black coffee, eggs over easy, extra toast for Ray, because he never asked, but always wanted it. Table 2, Mrs. Henderson, 76, came every morning since her husband passed. She didn't come for the food. She came so someone would say good morning to her. Tiana always did. And then there was Table 9. Mr. Adler. 81. Retired mailman. He came in with exact change. Always, every time. Counted out from a small leather coin purse. $4.75 for coffee and 1 egg on toast. Some days his hands shook so bad the coins scattered across the counter. Tiana never rushed him. Never once. She'd wait, slide the coins together gently, and say, "Perfect, right on the dollar." Today, she noticed something. His coat was thinner than last week. The collar was fraying. October in Atlanta wasn't freezing, but it wasn't warm either. She rang up his meal. Then she walked to the back, pulled a flannel jacket from the lost and found bin, clean, decent condition, roughly his size, and brought it out folded in a paper bag. "Someone left this last week. Nobody claimed it. Thought you might know somebody who could use it." Mr. Adler looked at the bag, looked at her. He didn't say thank you. He just nodded, slow, dignified, and tucked it under his arm. Delia saw the whole thing from the kitchen window. She said nothing, but later, when Tiana was refilling ketchup bottles, Delia leaned against the doorframe and said quietly to the cook, "That girl carries the whole world on her shoulders and still finds a way to hand somebody a jacket." Then the door jingled again, and Nora walked in. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. Nora Bishop, early 30s, blonde hair pulled back in a messy knot, dark circles under her eyes that no amount of concealer could hide. She wore a coat too thin for the season and carried a boy on her hip. Oliver, 5 years old, big eyes, dinosaur backpack, shoes with the sole peeling off the left one. They sat at table 7, the cheap table, the one near the kitchen where the AC vent rattled and most customers asked to move. Nora didn't ask to move. She opened the menu, scanned it the way people do when they're not looking for what they want, they're looking for what they can afford. "Can I get the side toast? Just the toast. And a water." Tiana wrote it down. Didn't blink, didn't judge. "And for the little man?" Oliver looked up. "Can I have pancakes?" Nora's hand tightened on the menu. "How about we split the toast, buddy?" "Okay, Mama." That okay. Quiet, no complaint, like he'd learned not to ask for too much. That hit different. Tiana felt it land somewhere behind her ribs. She put in the order. Toast, water. Then she walked to the kitchen and told the cook, "I need a full kids' stack. Pancakes, scrambled eggs, orange juice. Ring it as a void. Kitchen mistake." The cook raised an eyebrow. That's the third kitchen mistake this week. We're a messy kitchen. What can I say?
She brought it out herself. Set the plate in front of Oliver like it was nothing.
Kitchen made an extra order. Happens all the time. Hate to throw it out. You'd be doing us a favor. Oliver's eyes went wide. He looked at his mother. Nora looked at Tiana. Her chin trembled, just barely, just for a second, before she caught it. "Thank you," she whispered. "Don't thank me. Thank the clumsy cook." Tiana moved to the next table, refilled a coffee, took an order, like nothing happened. Because for Tiana, nothing extraordinary had happened. This was just Tuesday. But Nora sat there, watching her walk away, and something in her chest shifted, the way a locked door shifts when someone finally turns the right key. She didn't know Tiana's name yet. She didn't know about the debt, or Jerome, or the $340 checking account. All she knew was that a stranger had just fed her son with a kindness so quiet it barely made a sound. That was the morning. Now let's talk about the evening, because the evening is where things started cracking. 6:48 p.m., Tiana's apartment. She'd just come off a double, feet aching, back tight. She was heating leftover rice in the microwave when her phone rang. Jerome. "Hey, sis." She could hear it before he said it. That tone. The one where he's about to tell her something he's been holding all day. What happened? Financial aid got cut. They reduced my package. Something about enrollment numbers and budget adjustments. I don't know. They gave me a whole speech. Bottom line, I need $2,200 by the end of the month, or I lose my spot. Tiana closed her eyes, leaned against the counter. $2,200. She had $300 and... She checked. $300.12 now, after the $40 she sent this morning. When's the deadline? October 31st. 3 weeks. 3 weeks to find $2,200 when she was already drowning. I'll figure it out. Tiana, I can get a job. I can take a semester off. No. Sharp. Final. You stay in school. You hear me? I didn't work this hard for you to quit. I'm not trying to quit. I just... Jerome, I said I'll figure it out. Okay? Silence. Then, soft. Okay. I love you, sis. Love you too. Go study. She hung up. Set the phone on the counter face down. Stood there for a long time, just breathing. Then she picked it up again and called the gas station on Memorial Drive. Hey, it's Tiana Sullivan. You still need somebody for the overnight shift? Yeah, I can start tonight. 2 days later, Thursday. Tiana was running on 4 hours of sleep. Diner shift from 7 to 3, gas station from 11 to 6 a.m. Her body was screaming. But the math was starting to work. Barely. Nora came back to the diner, this time alone, no Oliver. She sat at table 7 again, same spot, but something was different. Her eyes were red. Her hands kept fidgeting with a napkin, tearing it into tiny strips. Tiana brought her water without being asked. Then, during a slow stretch around 2 o'clock, she did something she rarely did. She sat down. Hey, you okay? Nora shook her head, tried to smile, failed. My husband passed 8 months ago. Car accident. She said it flat, like she'd practiced it so many times the words lost their edges. He left debt I didn't know about. Credit cards. A loan against the house. I sold the house. It wasn't enough. Now I'm behind on rent. 3 months behind. And my son, her voice cracked, my son still asks when Daddy's coming home from his trip. Tiana didn't say, "I'm so sorry." She didn't say, "Everything happens for a reason." She didn't offer advice. She just sat there, present, quiet. The way someone sits with you when they know that words are too small for what you're carrying. After a while, Nora wiped her eyes. "I don't even know why I'm telling you this. Because sometimes you just need someone to hear it." Nora looked at her. Really looked. "What's your name?" "Tiana." "Tiana." Nora repeated it like she was memorizing it. "I'm Nora." They sat in silence for another minute. Then the lunch crowd picked up, and Tiana went back to work. Before Nora left, Tiana slipped a $20 bill inside Oliver's coloring book, the one he'd left behind on Tuesday. She tucked it between the dinosaur page and the spaceship. $20. From a woman with $300 in her account, working 2 jobs, drowning in debt. $20 she would never mention. $20 Nora wouldn't find until she got home, and Oliver opened the book, and a folded bill fell into his lap. "Nah, wait. Hold on. $20. She's got $300 to her name, and she's giving away 20? To someone she barely knows? Like, put yourself in her shoes for a second. You're drowning. Bills everywhere. Would you do that? Be honest. I don't think I could." Saturday morning. The billfold. This is where the timeline catches up to where we started. Edmund Caldwell walked into Delia's diner at 11:15 a.m. like a man who'd Googled diners near me and picked the first result. Except nothing about Edmund Caldwell was random. Nothing. He wore a charcoal suit that probably cost more than the diner's monthly rent. Silver hair combed back. Posture like a man who'd spent 50 years walking into rooms and owning them before he sat down. He took a booth near the window, table 3, and ordered a coffee. Black. Tiana brought it over. "Anything to eat, sir?" "Just the coffee, thank you." He sat there for 45 minutes. Watched the room. Watched Tiana. The way she moved. Efficient. Warm. Never rushed. Never cold. He saw her refill Mr. Adler's coffee without being asked. Saw her joke with the construction crew. Saw her wipe down a table and pause, just for half a second, to straighten a chair that nobody else would have noticed was crooked. He saw her. When he stood to leave, he placed a 20 on the table for a $3 coffee. Then he reached into his jacket, pulled out a leather billfold, thick, heavy, the kind that doesn't come from a department store, and set it on the seat. He walked out. Tiana cleared the table, picked up the 20. Then she saw it, the billfold. She opened it, and her hands went still. $100 bills, stacked, crisp. She counted fast. $6,000. Her heart slammed. 6,000. That was Jerome's tuition. That was 4 months of rent. That was the collection agency off her back for a year. For exactly 3 seconds, the thought crossed her mind. Not even a real thought, more like a shadow, a whisper. What if nobody saw? Then it was gone, replaced by something deeper. Something Gloria Sullivan had pressed into her daughter's bones long before cancer took her body. You don't keep what isn't yours. Not ever. Not for any reason. Tiana grabbed the billfold and ran. You already know what happened next. The rain, the Maybach, the 6 blocks, the man who didn't take his money back, the business card. Monday, 9 a.m., Peachtree Tower, 40th floor. Now it was Sunday night. Tiana sat on her couch, turning the business card over in her fingers. Thick cardstock, embossed gold lettering. Caldwell Properties, Executive Office. She opened her phone, typed Edmund Caldwell into Google. The results hit like a freight train. Edmund Caldwell, founder and chairman of Caldwell Properties, one of the largest commercial real estate and hospitality empires in the Southeast. Net worth, she had to read it twice, $2.4 billion. Billion with a B. Forbes profiles, Wall Street Journal features, a photo of him shaking hands with the governor. She almost dropped the phone. She called Delia. Delia, the man from yesterday, the billfold guy. What about him? He's a billionaire. Silence. Then, say that again. Edmund Caldwell, $2.4 billion. He owns half the commercial real estate in the Southeast, and he wants me at his office Monday morning. For what? I don't know. Another silence. Longer this time. Then Delia's voice, steady, certain, the voice she used when she wasn't playing. Baby, you returned $6,000 to a man who could buy this whole block with his lunch money, and he wants to talk to you. You go. I don't have anything to wear. Come by the house. I got a blazer in my closet that'll work just fine. Sunday night, 10 p.m. Tiana stood in front of her bathroom mirror. Delia's blazer hung on the door, navy blue, slightly big in the shoulders, smelling faintly of Delia's perfume. Her only pair of heels sat on the floor. She'd polished them with a paper towel and Vaseline. She looked at herself, really looked. Borrowed blazer, polished up shoes, $260 in the bank. And a business card from a billionaire. She didn't know what Monday would bring. She didn't know that the man she'd chased through the rain had lost his only daughter 6 months ago. She didn't know about the foundation. She didn't know about the test. All she knew was this. She'd given back what wasn't hers, and now a door she'd never seen before was cracking open. Whether she'd walk through it, that was tomorrow's problem. Monday, 8:47 a.m. Tiana stood outside Peachtree Tower and looked up. 46 floors of glass and steel punching into a cloudless sky. The building wasn't just tall. It was built to remind you that you weren't. She tugged Delia's blazer straight, walked in. The lobby was marble. Real marble. The kind that echoed when your heels hit it. A waterfall on one wall. Air that smelled like money and fresh lilies. The receptionist's smile was more gate than greeting. Her eyes traveled, blazer, heels, crossbody bag, the full scan in under 2 seconds. Your name? Tiana Sullivan. Keys clicking. A pause. Surprise she didn't quite hide. 40th floor. The elevator was glass-walled. Tiana watched her reflection rise. A woman in a borrowed blazer going up. The corridor outside Edmund's office was lined with framed photographs, buildings, hotels, a hospital wing, each one stamped Caldwell Properties. Then one photo stopped her. A young woman, late 20s, laughing with children at a community center. Head back, unguarded, real. The plaque read, Claire Caldwell, Caldwell Bridge Initiative, 1992 to 2025. 33 years old. Tiana stared at that face. Something about it felt familiar, like someone she could have been friends with. Edmund's office. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Atlanta spread out below like a map. Bookshelves. Not decorative. Red books, cracked spines, dog-eared pages. He looked different today. Tired. The kind of tired sleep doesn't fix. Sit, please. 2 coffees already poured. He didn't waste time. My daughter Claire started the Caldwell Bridge Initiative 4 years ago. Affordable housing, job training, community development. She believed the gap between struggling and thriving isn't money, it's access. Bridges. She wanted to build bridges. He looked at Claire's photo on his desk. She passed 6 months ago. Ovarian cancer. 33. Tiana listened, said nothing. The foundation stalled after she died. I interviewed 19 people, MBAs, nonprofit directors, policy experts. Everyone gave me a strategy deck. He leaned forward. Not one of them ran 6 blocks in the rain to return money that wasn't theirs. He slid a folder across the table. 90-day trial, foundation coordinator, $4,500 a month. You'd manage the pilot programs in South Atlanta. If it works, full directorship. $4,500 a month. More than double the diner and gas station combined. Why me? I wait tables. I don't have a degree in this. Edmund turned Claire's photo toward her. Neither did she. She had a business major she never used, and a heart she used every day. She learned by caring first and figuring out the rest. Can I have 24 hours? Take all the time you need. She needed 3 phone calls. Delia. Baby, somebody finally saw you. Jerome. You won't mess up. You've been doing this your whole life. You just never got paid for it. Then, Gloria's photo on the wall. Church hat. Easter smile. Okay, Mama. Let's see what happens. First day. Colleen Davis, Edmund's assistant, handed her a keycard, laptop, and a foundation binder thick enough to stop a door. Graham Prescott will get you set up with credentials. 38th floor. Graham. Tall, mid-40s, perfect suit. Perfect smile that didn't reach his eyes. Welcome aboard, Tiana. Anything you need. My door's open. She didn't notice his smile drop the second she turned the corner. Didn't see him lean back, staring at the ceiling, calculating. But we noticed. Remember that. Week 1, South Atlanta. Tiana didn't start with spreadsheets. She started with doors. Knocked on them. One question. What do you need? Rosalind Cooper. Single mother. Childcare. I got into a training program, but nobody to watch my kids. Arthur Phelps. 72. My roof's been leaking since March. Called the city 3 times. Nobody came. Denise Whitfield. Nursing student. Tutoring for my son. He's falling behind. Tiana listened, made calls. 2 weeks, 3 results. Childcare voucher arranged. Roof repaired. Tutor connected through Georgia State. Jerome helped set it up. Not press releases, not committee meetings. Results. Edmund read the reports quietly, nodded. And on the 38th floor, Graham read the same reports. Opened a new folder on his desktop. Sullivan, watch. For the first time in years, Tiana's life had a rhythm that didn't sound like survival. Weekdays, foundation work. Mornings in the South Atlanta communities. Afternoons at Peachtree Tower, filing reports, coordinating with contractors, learning the language of budgets and grant applications. She wasn't fluent yet, but she was fast, and she asked questions without shame, the kind of questions that made Colleen smile and made the finance team actually enjoy explaining things for once.
Evenings.
She still visited Delia's. Not to work, to sit at the counter, eat whatever Delia put in front of her, and decompress. "You eatin' better," Delia said one Thursday night. "You feedin' me better." Same thing. She sent Jerome his tuition check, the full $2,200, on time. He called her when he opened the envelope. Didn't say anything for 10 seconds. Then, sis. That was it. That was enough. And Nora had become a constant. They met at the diner on weekends, Oliver coloring in the corner booth while they talked. Easy, unhurried conversations. Nora talked about her husband, slowly, carefully, the way you unwrap something fragile. Tiana talked about Gloria, about Jerome, about the fear of not being enough. They didn't talk about money. They didn't talk about status. They talked the way two women talk when they've both been carrying something heavy alone and suddenly realize they don't have to. Nora still hadn't told Tiana her last name, not the full one, and Tiana hadn't asked, because at table 7, last names didn't matter. Then came the invitation. A Friday afternoon, Edmund called Tiana into his office. The annual Caldwell Properties Charity Gala. 2 weeks from Saturday. Black tie. 300 guests. Donors, board members, partners. He paused. "I'd like you there." "Me? You're the face of the Bridge Initiative now. People should meet you." Tiana's stomach tightened. 300 people in black tie. Donors. Board members. A world built on handshakes and last names and the kind of confidence that comes from never worrying about rent. I've never been to anything like that." Edmund smiled. Neither had Claire. Her first gala, she wore sneakers under her dress. Nobody noticed until the dancing started. Tiana laughed, for real, and for a moment, the gap between her world and his felt not gone, but crossable. That Saturday, she went shopping. Not thrift store shopping. Not clearance rack shopping. Real shopping. She found a dress, deep emerald green, simple, elegant, on sale at a department store in Buckhead. $180. The most she'd ever spent on a single piece of clothing. She stood in the fitting room mirror. The dress fit like it had been waiting for her. And for one breath, just one, she saw someone else in the reflection. Gloria Sullivan. Church hat. Easter smile. Looking back at her daughter like she'd always known this moment was coming. Tiana pressed her hand to the glass. "I wish you were here, Mama." The mirror didn't answer, but something warm settled in her chest. The kind of warmth that doesn't come from outside. It comes from finally, after years of running and giving and holding on, standing still long enough to see yourself clearly. She bought the dress. The night of the gala, Atlanta glittered. The Beaumont Hotel, Buckhead. Crystal chandeliers the size of small cars. String quartet. Champagne towers. 300 guests. Every one worth more than Tiana's entire apartment building. She arrived at 7:15. Emerald dress, hair swept up, new heels, bought with her first foundation paycheck. No Vaseline needed. The first 30 minutes went well. Edmund walked her through the room like she belonged. "Tiana, this is Constance Moore. 12 years on our board." Constance. Sharp eyes, warm handshake. "The child care voucher program. That was yours?" "Yes, ma'am." "Claire pitched something similar 2 years ago. Couldn't crack the logistics. You did it in 2 weeks?" "I just asked the mothers what they needed." Constance smiled. Real. "Stay in touch, Tiana." For 45 minutes, Tiana felt possible, like maybe the door Edmund opened wasn't going to slam shut. Then Edmund took the podium, introduced her to the room. Applause. 300 pairs of hands. She didn't see Graham in the back, didn't see him check his phone, didn't see the calm of a man who'd already set his trap. 9:20 p.m. Dessert course. Graham stepped onto the stage, didn't wait for an introduction. Forgive the interruption. Edmund, I wouldn't bring this up tonight, but something's been flagged. Smooth, rehearsed reluctance. $8,500, transferred out of the Bridge Initiative Fund. The credentials trace back to Ms. Sullivan. Every head turned. Tiana's blood went cold. 300 faces doing the math behind their eyes. The waitress. Of course. That's not. Edmund stood. Graham, documentation, now. Graham handed him the printout. Transfer log, timestamp, credential trace. All clean, all fabricated. Edmund looked at the paper, looked at Tiana, and on his face, not accusation, something worse. Doubt. Just a flicker. She saw it, and it cut deeper than anything Graham could have said. Until the review is complete, administrative leave. Paid. Paid leave. Polite words for, we don't trust you. Tiana looked around. The donors who'd shaken her hand an hour ago, staring at their plates. Constance narrowing her eyes at Graham. Graham tucking the printout away with the efficiency of a man finishing a task he'd planned for weeks. I understand, Tiana said. What else could she say? In a room full of billionaires, what does a waitress from East Atlanta say when the floor drops out? She walked out. The Beaumont lobby. Empty. Just Tiana, the chandelier light, and marble floors echoing her heels. The ride home took 22 minutes. She didn't cry. Watched the Caldwell skyline shrink through the window. Monday morning, Peachtree Tower. Colleen met her in the lobby with a cardboard box. Laptop, keycard, foundation binder, Jerome's college orientation photo. I'm sorry, Tiana, Colleen whispered. I don't believe it. Tiana walked across the marble, past the waterfall, past the receptionist, same one from day one. This time, the woman's face showed something different. Relief, like the natural order had been restored. Revolving door, sidewalk, the city loud and fast around her. She stood there holding a box that contained 6 weeks of everything she'd built, and felt something she hadn't let herself feel since Gloria died. Small. That night, apartment, dark. A knock. Delia. Foil-wrapped plate. A face that said, I already know. Tiana broke. Not loud. Shoulders folding inward, tears in the dark while Delia held her. Then, the thing she'd been swallowing all day. I should have known, Delia. People like me don't get to just walk into places like that. Delia pulled back. Hard eyes. Loving eyes. Don't you dare. Don't you let whoever did this write your story. You know who you are. I know who you are. And the truth? It doesn't care about boardrooms or galas. It comes out. Always. What if it doesn't? Then we drag it out ourselves. Tiana's phone buzzed. Nora. Are you okay? Please call me. She read it, set it down, didn't respond. Not because she didn't trust Nora, because right now, she didn't trust anything. 3 days passed. Tiana didn't leave her apartment. She worked the gas station overnight shift because the bills didn't care about administrative leave. She slept in fragments, 2 hours here, 3 hours there. She didn't call Delia, didn't call Jerome, didn't answer Nora's texts, which came every morning like clockwork. Hey, thinking about you. You don't have to talk, just let me know you're okay. Oliver drew you a picture. It's a dinosaur in a green dress. His words, not mine. That last one almost broke her. Almost. Thursday evening, 6:30 p.m. A knock at the door. Tiana didn't move from the couch. Another knock. Harder. Tiana, it's Nora. I know you're in there. Open the door or I'm sitting in this hallway until you do. And I brought Oliver, so he's going to start singing the dinosaur song in about 30 seconds. And trust me, you don't want that. From behind the door, a small voice. Dinosaur, stomp, dinosaur. Okay. Tiana opened the door. Nora stood there, Oliver on her hip, a bag of groceries in her free hand, and a look on her face that Tiana had never seen before. Not the tired, fragile Nora from Table 7. This was something else. This was a woman who'd made a decision. Can I come in? Tiana stepped aside. Nora set Oliver up on the couch with the coloring book and a juice box. Then she sat at the folding table across from Tiana. And she said 5 words that rearranged everything. My uncle is Edmund Caldwell. The air left the room. Tiana stared at her, processing, recalculating, rewinding every conversation, every Tuesday at Table 7, every kitchen mistake pancake, every $20 bill tucked into a coloring book. My full name is Nora Caldwell Bishop. Edmund is my mother's brother. You knew. Tiana's voice was flat. This whole time. You knew who he was. You knew about the foundation. You sat in that diner and you... No. Nora leaned forward. I didn't know about the foundation job until after you already had it. I came to the diner because it was cheap and 3 blocks from Oliver's school. That's it. I didn't know who you were. And by the time I found out, by the time Edmund mentioned your name at a family dinner, you were already my friend. Not my uncle's employee, my friend. Then why didn't you tell me? Because I was ashamed. Nora's eyes filled. I'm the niece of a billionaire, and I can't pay my rent. My husband left me in debt that my family doesn't even know about because I was too proud to ask for help. You, a woman with $300 in her bank account, fed my son, gave me $20 you couldn't afford. How was I supposed to look you in the eye and say, oh, by the way, my uncle's worth $2 billion? Silence. Oliver hummed softly on the couch, coloring a pterodactyl purple. Tiana exhaled, long and slow. The anger didn't leave, but it made room for something else, for the fact that Nora was here, at her door, not texting, not calling, here. Why are you telling me now? Nora wiped her eyes, straightened up. Because I know Graham Prescott, and what he did to you, he's done before. The story came out in pieces. 3 years ago, Claire Caldwell had a co-director at the Bridge Initiative, a woman named Sandra Ellis. Sharp, capable, dedicated. Sandra and Claire worked side by side for 2 years building the foundation from nothing. Then Graham decided Sandra was a threat. She was getting too close to Edmund. Too much influence. Too much access. So he did what Graham does. He found a crack and poured poison into it. Financial discrepancy, Nora said. Same playbook. Funds moved, credentials traced. Sandra couldn't prove she didn't do it. She resigned. Did Claire know? Claire suspected. She fought for Sandra. Hard. But the evidence looked clean. Graham's always careful. Sandra was gone within a month. Nora paused. Claire never forgave herself for not fighting harder. She told me once, 6 weeks before she died, if I'd pushed harder, Sandra would still be here, and the foundation would be twice what it is. Tiana felt something shift. Not just anger now, purpose. You said he moved funds last time. Same way?
Same way. Internal transfer. Credential trace pointing to the target. But here's the thing, Tiana. Graham isn't tech-savvy. He uses the same system every time because it worked before, which means there's a trail, a real one. How do we find it? Nora pulled a laptop from the grocery bag. Not groceries after all. I still have a family login to the Caldwell Properties internal system. Legacy access. They never revoked it after my mother passed. I can get into the financial logs. Isn't that? It's my family's company. I have the right. Nora opened the laptop. And more importantly, I have the skill. Before Oliver was born, I was an auditor at Deloitte. 3 years. Forensic accounting. Tiana blinked. You were a forensic accountant? I was a very good forensic accountant. For the first time in 3 days, Tiana almost smiled. They worked until midnight. Oliver fell asleep on the couch, wrapped in Tiana's blanket, the purple pterodactyl drawing clutched in his small fist. Nora moved through the financial system like a surgeon, precise, methodical, relentless. She pulled transaction logs, compared timestamps, cross-referenced credential access records with entry badge data. And there it was. The $8,500 transfer from the Bridge Initiative Discretionary Fund, initiated at 3:42 p.m. on a Tuesday, using Tiana's system credentials. But Tiana's entry badge showed she'd scanned into a community center in South Atlanta at 3:15 p.m. that same day, 26 miles from Peachtree Tower. GPS stamped, time logged. She didn't leave until 5 p.m. 14 people signed an attendance sheet confirming she was there. She was physically in South Atlanta when someone used her credentials on the 40th floor. That's not all, Nora said. She pulled up the receiving account, the one the $8,500 was transferred to. A holding account labeled Operational Reserve, GP. GP. Graham Prescott. He didn't even bother hiding it, Tiana whispered. He didn't think he needed to. Last time, nobody looked. Nora compiled everything into a single file. Transaction logs, badge timestamps, GPS records, the holding account registration. Sandra Ellis's case, same pattern, same method, 3 years apart. Tiana looked at the screen, then at Nora. I want to take this to Edmund. Nora shook her head. No. Edmund loves you, Tiana. But Graham has been in his ear for 15 years. He's the man who keeps the machine running. If we go to Edmund privately, Graham will spin it. He'll say we fabricated the evidence. He'll say I'm bitter about my inheritance. He'll make it about family drama instead of fraud. Then where? The board. Full board meeting. On the record. Where whispers can't hide. Tiana looked at Oliver, sleeping on her couch. At Nora, a woman who'd walked into her life as a stranger at table 7 and was now sitting at her folding table at midnight, fighting for her. Okay, Tiana said. The board. The Caldwell Properties boardroom. 42nd floor. Glass walls. Mahogany table. 18 leather chairs. The kind of room where decisions were made that affected thousands of people who'd never see the inside of it. Tuesday morning, 10 a.m., full board. 12 members seated. Constance Moore at the far end,
reading glasses on, legal pad ready. Philip Walsh, 2 seats down. Edmund at the head, looking like he'd aged 5 years in 2 weeks. Graham sat to Edmund's right. Same chair he'd sat in for 15 years. Portfolio open. Fountain pen lined up. The posture of a man who thought this meeting was already over. He'd prepared his recommendation. Terminate Tiana, dissolve the Bridge Initiative's independent budget, fold everything under his division. Clean. Done. Before we begin, Graham started, I know how much the Bridge Initiative means to Claire's memory, but our fiduciary responsibility... The door opened. Tiana walked in.